Zang Fu, The Organ System of Traditional Chinese Medicine by Jeremy Ross. Chapter 9 Gan and Dan, Liver and Gallbladder. Pattern of Disharmony. Stirring of Gan Wind. Concept of wind in Chinese medicine indicates rapid, changing movement. Wind is light and young and rises. Hence, it predominantly affects the upper body, especially the head. Internal and external wind share these characteristics, but have very different origins and signs, and do not generally give rise to each other. Internal wind is largely, though not necessarily, associated with Gan disharmony, since it is sudden, irregular movement, the opposite of the smooth, even flow promoted by Gan. Internal wind affects the upper body as wind affects the upper branches of a tree, producing signs of rapid change of movement, characteristically tics, tremors, spasms, and convulsions. The disruptive effect of these rapid, abnormal gusts and squall of upward movement on the circulation of qi and shi may have drastic consequences within the body, resulting in dizziness or even loss of consciousness. Types. There are three main patterns of the stirring of Gan wind. Utmost heat producing wind, deficient yin and hyperactive yang producing wind, deficient shi and deficient gan shi producing wind. Production of utmost heat occurs only in severe febrile diseases. It is a full, sudden, serious, acute condition. This is different from blazing gunfire, arising from depression of gan qi or deficient gan yin, which is more likely to be associated with the second category, that of wind produced from deficient gan yin and hyperactive yang. Blazing gunfire may be accessed based on deficiency, and although it may be serious, it is more likely to be acute flare-ups arising from a chronic condition of deficiency than the sudden, acute, full condition of the first category. Finally, wind deriving from deficient gan shi is a condition of chronic emptiness, with signs of much lesser severity. These three patterns share two common factors in the origin of internal wind. Number 1. Deficient yin and deficient shi. In the first category, yin and shi are damaged by the extreme heat. The second category includes deficiency of yin and often also deficiency of shi, which may be further aggravated by the blazing gunfire. The third category is based on deficient shi and is often accompanied by deficient yin. Deficient yin and deficient shi result in lack of nourishment and moisture for muscles and tendons, resulting in their weakness, numbness, stiffness, and spasticity. Number 2. Turbulence. The powerful upward rushing fire of utmost heat creates great turbulence in the upward movement of qi and shi. Similarly, the strong upward surge of hyperactive yang, when uncontrolled by yin, creates turbulence in its wake. This disruptive, turbulent movement is internal wind. Deficient shi means insufficient shi to maintain a strong, steady, even flow of shi through the Jing law and shi mai, resulting in a weak, fluctuating, uneven flow. This lesser but more chronic turbulence is the internal wind derived from deficient shi. In a sense, stirring of Gan wind is simply a specific and extreme form of the changing uneven movement to which Gan is prone. The combination of the two factors of deficient yin and shi and turbulence creates the characteristic signs of stirring of Gan wind. Origins of stirring of Gan wind have been discussed. and are outlined in Figure 9.1. Internal wind may also arise from phlegm and heat, formed by eating excess sweet or fatty food and alcohol. Signs. Generally, the main signs of stirring of Gan Wind are tics, tremors, convulsions, numbness, spasm, dizziness, and sometimes loss of consciousness. Specific signs of the three different types of stirring of Gan Wind are outlined in Table 9.1 below. Pathology. At most heat. The extreme turbulence and heat caused by the violent upward movement of fire and yang is so disruptive to the flow of the qi and she that it results in extreme and uncontrolled movement and contraction of muscles and tendons, with convulsions, neck spasms, and opisthotonos. The extreme heat injures Shen with coma and delirium. Hyperactive yang. There may be signs due to deficient Gan in, hyperactive yang, and blazing Gan fire, but the most important are signs due to the turbulence caused by the uprush of yang. This results in disturbance of Xin and brain, Shen and senses, and thus in loss of consciousness or mental disorientation, with a possible impairment of speech. If turbulent yang and fire invade Jing law of the upper body, they may disrupt the flow of qi and she, with hemiplegia or facial paralysis. Deficient she. There may be signs of deficient she and deficient Gan she. Otherwise, the only additional signs in this case of stirring of Gan Wind is an emphasis on trembling and convulsion, for reasons stated. Phlegm and wind. Phlegm and fire are often associated in pathology, and fire may give rise to wind, so that wind and phlegm may occur together. Extreme heat can cause loss of consciousness by disturbance of Shen, and wind and phlegm can also cause loss of consciousness by disruption and obstruction, respectively, of circulation of qi and she and Jingluo of the head, thus clouding the orifices of the senses. Phlegm may also obstruct the orifices of Shen, causing disturbance and obstruction of Shen. Wind and phlegm may occur together, as in penetrating wind or in seizures, which roughly correspond to the CVA and epilepsy of Western medicine, respectively. In both cases, the wind and phlegm rebel upward, disrupting the flow of qi in the channels so that circulation of qi in the head becomes disorderly. Hence, the orifices of senses become disconnected, so that the ears do not hear properly and the eyes do not see properly, and there may be dizziness and collapse. The turbulence and obstruction due to wind and phlegm may also affect Jingluo, resulting in the paralysis, and especially hemiplegia, typical of CVA sequela. Treatment. Utmost heat. The principle of treatment is to reduce heat and to pacify Gan Wind, using reducing method and the bleeding of certain points. Moxa is obviously contraindicated. Points such as the following may be used: Frenchie, gallbladder 20, Taichung, liver 3, pacify yang, fire and wind of Gan, and calm the mind. Zang Fu, DU16, and Das Chui, DU14. Zang Fu pacifies wind, and Da Chui clears heat. Both clear the brain and calm Shen, and relieve muscle spasms. Hegu, liver 4. Hegu, especially in combination with Da Chui, clears heat, and thus relieves muscle spasm. Xishuan, MUE1, bleed to clear heat and restore consciousness. Dumai is called the governing channel or the Sea of Yang channel, since it controls all the Yang channels. Being the topmost part of the body, the meeting place of all the Yang channels, and because Yang rises, the head and the Du channel are especially prone to excess or to turbulence of Yang, as in the conditions of hyperactive Yang, blazing fire, extreme heat, or internal wind. Dumai has links with the brain and with the orifices of the senses. Thus, excess or turbulence of Yang may result in loss of consciousness, and the extreme heat associated with febrile conditions may cause severe spasms of muscles and tendons and convulsions. This explains the use of Feng Fu and Da Chui above to regulate Yang and to disperse excess from Dumai. Hyperactive Yang. Various disease patterns are associated with deficient in hyperactive Yang, blazing fire, and stirring of Gan Wind. For example, wind stroke and epilepsy. The principle of treatment and the points used will depend on the particular pattern and the particular patient involved. For example, wind stroke is divided into number 1, acute pattern, associated with Zang Fu involvement, subdivided into closed and abundant types. Number 2, pattern of sequela of wind stroke, associated with Jing involvement. The principle of treatment in the closed pattern is to clear the orifices, drain heat, and pacify rebellious qi. The principle of treatment in the abundant pattern aims at stabilizing Yang. The principle of treatment in sequela of stroke is to clear Jing invigorate circulation of qi and xue, and eliminate wind. Reducing method is used in the closed type, reinforcing method in the abundant type. In later stages, after closed type has progressed to abundant type, moksha is appropriate. For sequela of stroke, points may be chosen according to area of function affected. For example, arm, leg, speech, and even method and moksha are used. For details of points, see reference 9 and 18. In epilepsy or seizures, the principle of treatment is to clear the orifices of the head, such as of the senses, transform phlegm and pacify Gan Wind. During a seizure, reducing method is used. Between seizures, even method is used. Points may be selected from such as the following: Yang Quan, Kidney 1, Combs Shen, opens the orifices of the senses. Yao Qi, MBW29, specific points for epileptic seizures. Feng Qi, GallBladder 20, Feng Fu, Du 16, and Da Chui, Du 14, pacified wind, calm Shen, clear the brain. Ren Chong, Du 26, regulates yin and yang, opens the orifices of the head to restore consciousness. Various other points could also be added, depending on the situation. For example, on whether the seizures are mainly in the night or in the day, whether it is gland or petit mal. And also points may be added to clear phlegm, to relax muscles and tendons, to strengthen in, etc. Deficient share. For example, tick or eye, or tremor of head. The principle of treatment is to pacify wind using even method and to nurse share using reinforcing method. Points may be selected from such as the following: Taichung, Liver 3, or Fenqi, GallBladder 20, or Bai Fui, Jumai 20. Pacify Gan and disperse wind, especially in the head. Hegu, Liver 4. Disperses wind and clears the channels. Zusanli, Stomach 36. Pishu, Bladder 20. Strengthen the function of P and Wei to form share. Ganshu, Bladder 18. Strengthen Gan share. And Geishu, Bladder 17. Strengthen share. Common disease patterns. Example of common disease patterns in which the stirring of Gan Wind is involved are extreme heat, febrile disease, for example, encephalitis B, hyperactive young, CVA and sequela, epilepsy, deficient share, tics and tremors, especially of eyes and head. Dump heat in Gan and Dan. Origins. The origins of this pattern are summarized in Figure 9.1. If transformation and transportation function of P is impaired, for example, by external dump or by invasion by Gan, internal dump may be produced. If there is depression of Gan Qi, the dump may stagnate, producing heat. This pattern is aggravated by consumption of rich, greasy food, alcohol, etc. Signs. The main signs of this pattern are associated with depression of Gan Qi, heat and dump, and invasion of P and by Gan. Depression of Gan Qi. Sensations of fullness and pain in chest and hypochondrium, jaundice, bitter taste. Gan invades P. Loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, sore, abdominal distension. Heat, fever, thirst, dark urine. Pulse and tongue. Pulse is wiry, rapid, and slippery. Tongue is red with greasy yellow coat. The red tongue with greasy coat and slippery rapid pulse distinguish this pattern from the other Gan disharmonies. Pathology. The pathology of signs of depression of Gan Qi, impaired secretion of bile, and invasion of P by Gan have been discussed. The red tongue, rapid pulse, fever, etc. arise from internal heat. The dump in the system, which may congeal to from phlegm, produces a slippery pulse and greasy tongue coat. Treatment. For example, in leukorrhea of the dump heat type, the principle of treatment is to regulate Daimai, Chongmai, and Renmai, and to disperse dump heat. Reducing or even method is used, and points such as the following may be selected. Daimai, GallBladder 26, strengthens Daimai and helps to eliminate dump heat and therefore discharge. Qi-Hai, Ren 6, invigorates Qi circulation, reduces stagnation and accumulation of dump. Sang Yin Jiao, Spleen 6, strengthens P to eliminate dump. In Linchuan, Spleen 9, strengthened P to eliminate dump heat. Chengji, Renmai 3, and Li Guo, Liver 5. Chengji is the crossing point of Ren and Gan channels, and Li Guo is the lure point of the Gan channel. In combination, these points reduce fire of Gan and clear the channels and alleviate dump heat. For example, in cholecystitis, the principle of treatment is to spread and drain Danqi, eliminate dump heat, invigorate the middle jiao and Kong Wei. The method of treatment during the attack of pain is to needle Dannangshe and Neigang with reducing method until the pain is relieved. Then, the other points are used with even method. Dannangshe, MLE 23, Specific points for disharmony. Name 1. P6. Expands middle jaw and harmonious way. Yang Linquan, gallbladder 34, and Li Yue, gallbladder 24, spreads and drain Danqi. San Yinjiao, spleen 6, and Yin Linquan, spleen 9, strengthen P to eliminate Dampit. Zhu Sanli, stomach 36, strengthen P and Wei and middle jaw. Common disease patterns. Dampit in Gan and Dan may be associated with the Western categories of jaundice, hepatitis, cholelithiasis, cholecystitis, and leukorrhea. Stagnation of cold in Ganjin Wall. Origins. Both internal and external cold and depression of Ganqi may contribute to this pattern, since these may all lead to stagnation of qi in Ganjin Wall. Signs. Pain and distension in lower abdomen, chest and scrotum, alleviated by warmth. Pulse wiry, deep and slow. Tongue pale with white coat. Pathology. Since cold concentrates in the lower part of the body, and since Ganjin law surrounds the genitals, pain and swelling may be especially in these areas. Cold is also characterized by contraction and by obstruction of qi, accompanied by pain. Cold result in the deep, slow pulse and pale tongue with white coat. A wiry or tight pulse may result from the combination of pain and cold. Treatment. The principle of treatment is to invigorate circulation of qi to disperse cold and to clear Ganjin wall. Even method of manipulation is used with moxa. Li Guo, liver 5, and Taichung, liver 3, combined to clear Ganjin wall and reduce pain in tests. Qi Hai, Renmai 6, and Gan Yuan, Renmai 4, moxa to invigorate qi and yang, and to disperse cold from lower jaw. Summary. The most important Gan function is governing the free flowing of qi. Failure of this function may result in depression of Gan qi, stagnation of qi and stagnation of she, irregularity and stagnation of the flow of bile, the emotions, and the menstrual cycle, and invasion of P and Wei by Gan with attendant digestive problem. Also, stagnation may lead to heat and fire and to damp heat and flame fire. In other circumstances, stagnation may be associated with the accumulation of cold and damp in Ganjin wall. Gan needs moisture and is prone to deficient yin and to hyperactive yang and blazing fire. Failure of the Gan function of storing she may lead to deficient Gan she, manifesting in face, lips, tongue, pulse, tendons, eyes, nails, menstrual cycle, etc. Failure of this function may also lead to irregularity in the storage and release of she by Gan, associated with hemorrhage, especially if aggravated by heat in she. Extreme heat, deficient Gan yin, accompanied by hyperactive Gan yang, and blazing fire, or deficient Gan she, may all be accompanied by stirring of Gan Wind, the extreme form of the irregular movement of qi and she manifested by Gan.